Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brandon Burbank, and I'm here with Joe Votion. And we have a wonderful opportunity today because we're going to be talking to you guys about mental health, wellness, stigma, and a little bit of personal development as well. But we're going to be focusing around starting the conversation around mental health. Joe, could you tell us a little bit about yourself before we continue?
Well, my name is Joel. I've been a skateboarder in Bellingham for the past 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to be here,
Cool.
And anything I can express or share with you to make you feel that you understand where we're coming from at this point. Most of the people that probably will watch this locally know me, and I really want to express a better half of myself so that way it's not always just what they see, because that's not how it always is.
That's brilliant, Joe. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that everybody's on their own track with living life independently in a different way. And so I think that you bring a lot of different ideas and unique perspective that not everybody can bring to the table because of your life experiences.
Right. I mean, we all have those things that happen in life, and then you try your best to figure it out or look it up on the internet nowadays, or at least find a resource or some type of sustainable knowledge to even give yourself the ability to say, hey, maybe I am having a little bit of hiccup and I do need a pat on the back so that I can, whatever negativity or whatever energy that's not worthy, or shall I say the word, not healthy, and to get, regurgitate or get rid of that negative feeling, because sometimes that's all it really takes is like someone just pat you on the back.
Yes, encouragement, positive
Yes.
people. So with that being said, let's kick it off with the first question for today, Joe. Why should we talk about mental health?
Well, at least personally, understanding how most people will not open up, and I was totally like that. And nobody wants to be an open book, but everybody wants to be read, right? So when it comes from me, it's like, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that, and I've been through this way, that page, that book, read the prologue, and read the next chapter, hopefully. But you know what I mean? Like, in the end, it's how do one reads thyself and to create himself into a better persona for others, and that way you can become a better part of the community.
Yeah.
When it comes to it, the suffering, the trauma and trials is tough, and like having a stable place to be, or having a good community, or at least that positive pat on the back, and you're like, yeah, dude, like,
yes.
I can actually look up and it's not that bad, although we still feel it. I forgot the question, but yes.
So it's really, why should we talk about mental health?
Well, yeah, because it's something that, like I said, most people won't speak about it or speak up about it, and intimidated to say, yes, I do need that pat on the back, or I do need to reach out for
My
something.
viewpoint about why we should talk about mental health is really simple. Well, not only does it impact every single person on this planet, because everybody has their own mental health that they might be, that they need in order to live functionally, but the second reason is this, and this is more predominantly on why my purpose is to serve the mental health community, and why I'm trying to make a difference in this realm of the country and world, is because of this. According to NAMI, over 55 million adult Americans are living with a mental illness. 55 million. So that's the predominant reason behind why I am doing what I'm doing, and why I'm becoming the man of God that I want to become, and that there's a lot of value that I can provide to this community, because there's a lot of people who in this world who are hurting. And I have been one of those people who have gone through an immense amount of struggle with my mental health, and just trying to find fulfillment and purpose and meaning in my life when it felt like there was no hope. So my question now is, what does recovery look like for someone with a mental illness? And why is recovery important?
Well, number one, recovery is 100% important. Now, 100% of the time, most men or women in certain cases don't have that stability at home, or wherever they may reside in life, and it's like, recovery is that ongoing battle, and if you don't have the sources to be there for you, then you're kind of alone on that. And then when you're alone on it, it's like everybody just looks at you and they're like, okay, we could just write it off because of that person or this situation. And it's like they don't have any fallback. And that's why I always represent the people that I associate with, because they actually have that when I fall down, my people pick me up. And
Yeah.
I'm proud to say that. I might not be perfect in the way that I am, most people know. I could be a good guy, I could be the worst guy, but in the end, it's like I just want to be a better me
Yeah.
to give you guys a better you, and without having that, pat on the back, without having just
Accountability, I think. Self-accountability,
Well,
self-discipline.
it's all that in the end. But when it comes to mental health, it's more like when you fall down, nobody's gonna pick you up. They're just gonna step over you. They're gonna call you a bum. They're gonna call you homeless. They're gonna call you these names, and then you're gonna feel great about yourself in the morning when you wake up with no coffee, no money. No, it is tough, my brother. So when it comes to it, and I see you, and I see a lot of other people actually, and hence why I'm here today, is because there is not just outreach programs. There's people here in the community who care, and it's scary to go out there and say, yo, I'm not feeling the greatest today. Everybody says, ha, I got what is it? You get like a cold or something, and it's like, no, you're just not, I don't feel well today, and it's like, that's the thing about
Here's my
mental
viewpoint.
illness.
Here's my viewpoint, Joe. Tell me what you think. Everybody has their own recovery that looks different, and so that's kind of where, for somebody who's supporting another person, who, like, say you have a loved one, say some of our viewers in this video, you have a loved one or you are dealing with mental health. Let's start with the loved one. Asking the person to be empathetic, the person that's struggling, that might be involved in your life, who you want to support and challenge their beliefs and ideologies about how they're in a dark place. That's where you have to come from them at the equal latitude of
Common ground.
transparency.
Common
Another good way
ground.
of putting it, Joe, common ground. And so really being there with them in their pain temporarily, and telling them that they can get out of that, they have permission to, because some people don't even have the same enough of the self-esteem to get out of the problem.
Exactly.
So that's where it takes a little bit of extra support from
That's how
somebody.
it helps, and like I said, like recovery is tough for everybody, but you could be having a hankering for more ice cream, but you can't have it because the doctor said it's not good for your cholesterol level or for your, diabetes. At that point, you might be able to get away with a little bit of ice cream, you know what I mean? Like, there's these boundaries set, especially when it comes to mental health, and it's like people they always want to write it off, and that's where I get to where whatever stigma is, it's like I just recognize people for who they are, and having a good, like I said, recovery system. That's how you would stay on that good path of recovery, is having the solid background, having good people there for you, and that pat on the back, like I was
So Joe,
saying.
here's
Sorry,
another
I'm
question.
always
Here's another question for you regarding in regards to recoveries. Why is recovery important?
Because nobody wants to be on the sad side all the time. It's heavy. It's a tough job. Nobody wants to always have to be there, and I'm like half the time there. You know what I mean? But I want to be there for others.
What
So
we're trying to say
recovery-
is we're giving people encouragement and
Yes.
hope by being able to tell people that recovery is possible.
Yes.
And
it
if
is.
you're really deterministic enough and focused and motivated, and you have the right support team, I guarantee you folks that those of you that are watching this video, that recovery can be sustainable, and it can be attainable for you in your life and your goals and your dreams. And so Joe is a perfect example of his story, and he's grown up with a lot of mental health struggles and challenges, but he's been able to beat the odds, and still here he is today talking with you guys vulnerably about his own perspective on how you can make a difference in the world, on the lives of other people with a mental illness.
And it's like not just to try to throw it out there, but for real, without these guys, without him and certain people in my life, which I know I have a beautiful family, I have beautiful friends, and I know most of the people out there don't even know are amazing. And it's good to have that support system. You have the people there. If you're having a feeling that you're not feeling the greatest, just remember we're out there and we say you are great and we want to see you succeed.
So now I want to
And that's the
transition,
point,
Joe. I want to transition our next question, which is focusing more around stigma.
Right.
Let's pinpoint what is stigma. Stigma, for an example, with regards to mental health. This is my viewpoint. My definition is when in the world, in our world today, because we have a mental illness diagnosis or condition, you are treated a little bit differently because you're talked down to. You might not have the same amount of respect that you as your peers who might not have a condition. And so for me, I'm trying to be as blunt but also as honest about this topic, because it's definitely something that is in a lot of controversy because there's a lot of because if you're stigmatized, there's a lot of negative things that come with that, and it creates a lot of frustration for certain people in our world today. And so by being able to I'm trying to approach it in more of a neutral standpoint, so that way other people who are dealing with the stigma around mental health. Let me just tell you this: from my viewpoint, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at age 19, and I do experience stigma, and I have experienced it in the past. From family members and friends as well, and so it's been hard to maintain growth and maintain success when you have stigma in this world. So let me transition to Joe. Joe, how have you been able to successfully combat stigma in your life situation?
Well, I never knew there was such a thing until I started paying attention to how people would treat me, during certain points in my life. But it's like, to me, that's why I asked, like, what is stigma? What does it mean? Oh, I'm going to be treated differently? That I'm not going to be respected the way everybody wants to be respected? In the end, it's like, then I remember, I'm like, you know what? Treat people better than you treat yourself, and then always try to treat yourself better, even if you have, like, I battle severe depression. I kind of like my own worst enemy. But I want to, when I'm out there in life, in society, as a community, I want to be a better me for them, even if, like, the person is, like the other day, I happened to see somebody ran into him, and I just felt like the need to go to the store and acquire or purchase some water for him because it's just a hot day, and I was able to do that, and that just felt good to be able to be there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not understanding what you're saying right now with regards to stigma and how you're buying, but
well, that's the idea that I didn't stigmatize him for his situation. I didn't consider him homeless. I didn't consider him just because he had no shirt on. He's sitting there sweat. I mean, he was doing whatever he was doing, but I did not stigmatize him. So that's when I hear that word, I'm like, what does it mean?
Okay, so
I'm foreign to that.
If I'm understanding you correctly, you went above and beyond and showed kindness towards for a person who was homeless or on the streets and going through these challenges.
Needing some beverage because he was like dying over there. I should have bought him a bag of ice and threw it on him.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
and then let's do our last question that we have for the discussion today.
Sorry.
What does reaching out look like for someone who is in a mental health crisis? Now, this question that I really thought about deeply is because when people are in the throes of their challenges and their pain, how do you get help? And how do you maintain balance and focus on, because, for example, I'm going to give you an example. When I was homeless back in 2022, and I was living in hotel rooms and trying to figure out how to get sustainable from moving out of California and back to Washington State, I was in a panic crisis mode because I had no support. So my question to the audience, that's why I'm asking this, is what does reaching out look like? Because for many people, reaching out can be a hard thing to do. Joe, do you have any thoughts?
Yes, I would say I'm glad that we're here having this conversation, and I appreciate you reaching out to me, and I hope that this reaches them as well. And just know that you are loved and you are cared for. There's certain places we go and we reside to find that stability, get us back into the routine of good things. And
Joe, I'm going to stop you right there due to the time frame that we have. We'll go ahead and finish your last point.
But the point being is, I appreciate like Brandon and like most of the people around me, and without that stability or what do you call that, support, probably wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. And we're going to wrap up with the last question due to the time frame that we have. One word answer. How can recovery be possible?
Faith.
Faith, I love it. For me, my answer would be persistence, because if you don't stop, if you don't quit, you'll eventually get to your goal. So in wrapping up on this video, I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I did in creating this with Joe. And you guys stay tuned for more videos to come. Stay blessed. Take care. Thank you very much.
Yes. That was awesome, dude.